Welcome, everybody, to the RV Connects podcast, Canada's RV podcast for weekend warriors, part-time travelers, and full-time adventurers at heart. I'm Melina.
And I'm Dan. And on today's podcast, we're going to take you on our journey to one of New Brunswick's most iconic places, Fundy National Park.
That's right. Tucked along the Bay of Fundy, this park is packed with rugged coastline, Acadian forest, tumbling waterfalls, and of course, the world's highest tides. Whether you're hiking the trails, tide watching from the shore, or soaking up the charm of nearby Alma, there's something for everyone here. And speaking of Alma, we've got a special treat later this episode, an interview with a local whose family roots run deep in this little fishing village that serves as the gateway to the park. But before we dive in, a quick word from our 2025 sponsor, Niagara Trailers. They are more than just a dealership. They're a family-run team that's been helping RVers like us hit the road with confidence for generations. Whether you're brand new to RV life or you've been doing this for years, their service team has your back. From safety checks and custom upgrades to getting that mystery leak finally sorted before your next big trip and not during it, like Dan and I had to deal with. But when we say we trust them, we mean it. So if you're looking to buy, trade, service, or just ask a few questions before making a big decision, check out niagaratrailers.com.
And tell them that the RV Canucks sent you.
Please do. All right, let's roll into the magic of Fundy National Park and share why this spot deserves a top spot on your East Coast RV bucket list. Fundy National Park is located in the southern portion of New Brunswick near the village of Alma along the coast of the Bay of Fundy. It's about 1 hour from Moncton, about 3 hours from St. John or Fredericton. The park covers more than 200 square kilometers of rugged wilderness and coastline. So let's talk about why it's famous. It's home to the highest tides in the world, which sounds kind of banal and boring, but the tide can change up to 12 meters or like 40 feet every 6 hours and 13 minutes, apparently, they say. But when the tide goes out, it exposes the ocean floor, which offers a unique opportunity to walk along the seabed. Just make sure to check tide times while you're there. But this tidal movement sort of causes dramatic changes in rivers, estuaries, including the Point Wolf River and Bennett Lake, which we'll talk about in the park. So I think in terms of national parks, it's one of the smaller ones in Canada. But when I say it's packed with features, it's absolutely packed. Let's talk a little bit about the RV and camping info. Fundy has 3 front country campgrounds that accommodate RVs. So you've got Chignecto North, I hope I'm saying that right. So those are kind of open wooded sites with full hookups available, which includes the Cannontown Loop, which is where we stayed, with full hookups. That has more room, I would say, for bigger rigs. Headquarters campground is a little bit closer to the village of Alma, smaller. You can definitely walk everywhere from that loop. And then there is Point Wolf, which has tighter turns, probably more appropriate for smaller rigs. And then, of course, Parks Canada has these Authentics, or their version of they're like a yurt.
Yeah, kind of like a yurt.
And so if you are bringing friends that don't RV or you need some extra space, those are a good option as well. So reservations are highly recommended, especially in July and August. We'll talk a little bit about that when Dan and I go through the overview of what our impressions were of the park. I will say, if you like hiking the hikes and trails within Fundy National Park, you are going to love. You've got Dixon's Falls, which we talk about with our special interview guest. It is the park's most popular hike because it's really short. It's a 1.5 kilometer loop, and it's got a beautiful waterfall, mossy boardwalks, pretty easy to navigate. There's the Laverty Falls Trail, which is about 5.5 kilometers return to a stunning waterfall. You've got Caribou Plain, which is accessible through a peat bog with boardwalks, with interpretive signs, lots of wildlife viewing. You've got another set of waterfalls called the Third Vault Falls, 16 meters high. It's the tallest waterfall in the park. It's a moderate to challenging 7.4 kilometers round trip, though. So probably something for, maybe more experienced hikers. And then you've got the Ship Haven Trail and Coastal Trail, which offer great views of the bay. They're good for catching that kind of coastline feel and maybe even take it over into the village of Alma. But while we think everybody should go to the village of Alma, If you get to this park and you don't feel like leaving, you don't have to. There's a ton of stuff to do there. You've got plenty of swimming, canoeing, kayaking. You've got a couple of lakes, Bennett Lake and Wolf Lake. They have a heated saltwater pool, which is actually really cool. It's open seasonally. It's near the headquarters, campground, and check-in area, and it overlooks the bay. So while you're in this amazing saltwater pool, you can overlook the bay and watch the tides change. There's lots of cycling, mountain biking trails, and they even have winter activities and a golf course in the park, which I think is pretty neat and fairly unique. So let's talk about the wildlife a little bit, because I think it struck me as, well, maybe more wooded than I would expect.
It's wooded. It felt to me like it had the scenery and mountains and like, let me qualify that, not high mountains, but it had like a Banff like natural feel with the chillness of Jasper. It's like you took Jasper and Banff and mixed them all up and shook them out, and you got the chill part of Jasper and the like beauty and hills and trees of Banff.
For sure. Although, I mean, the forest is dynamically different. It's the Acadian forest, which is apparently one of the rarest forest types in the world. There are moose, red foxes, porcupines, over 260 species of birds, including warblers, bald eagles. We saw a ton of different birds.
Oh, and you hear them just singing away in the park. Like, being from southwestern Ontario, like, they're birds, but like there's just something a little bit different, and that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apparently it's a great spot for fall colors, which I would think I would definitely love to go back to that area in the fall. I think it would be really stunning. And of course, we've talked about Alma, New Brunswick, which is the village that's sort of the gateway to the park. It's small, it's charming, it's filled with local flavor. I would suggest that you grab some sticky buns from Kelly's Bake Shop, a seafood chowder or lobster rolls from Tipsy Tales or the Alma Lobster Chop. We had fried clams, which was actually really interesting from the takeout. What was your impression of those?
It was like a more robust, what's that other seafood appetizer that you often get in stores?
Calamari?
Calamari. It's like a much more robust calamari. We kind of compared it to alligator, but it wasn't as chewy as alligator. Now,
it was still more chewy than calamari.
However, yeah. What I would say is, like, I'm not like an alligator connoisseur, so for all I know, the only time I had alligator, I got a bad cut of alligator. The question is, would you get it again? I would get it again, yes.
Yeah. And I will say, since we're talking about food, I would like to give a shout out to the Octopus's Garden, which is a little cafe kind of on the opposite side of Alma from where the park entrance is. Have fantastic food, really amazing and varied menu. We stopped there for lunch on Dan's birthday, and it was fantastic. And it had a really nice little patio overlooking the river that runs through town. So it was gorgeous. But one of the neat things about Alma, and if you see our social medias, you will see Dan has put some things up about, the fishing boats and the boat names and things. So go check that out.
I thought it was pretty clever, like, not to toot my own horn. They have some good boat names there.
They certainly do. But Alma is like a working fishing village, right? So you can go during low tide and like all of the boats are just kind of sitting on the ocean floor. And as it comes in, they sort of slowly rise up. It's kind of a neat thing to see.
Yeah, I think when I think about Alma and I reflect back on it, Alma is not super big, which means you could walk from end to end pretty easily, which is good. It feels really balanced.
Yeah.
It doesn't have too many restaurants, but you've got some choice. It doesn't have too many gift shops, and all the gift shops are not the same. So when you think of more commercialized natural areas, you go in and it's the same t-shirt in all the gift shops and the same magnet sticker, snow globe. They're all different with their own little feel. There's a bakery. There's a bunch of different stuff there, which gives it a lot of balance. And
it's not overly commercial, like if you're walking in downtown Banff and
or Niagara on the Lake, or somewhere
and every
else.
Third like souvenir shop has the same.
It's
things.
Original.
Yeah,
it's original and authentic.
Yeah, for sure. So overall impressions of the park, I think I was certainly surprised at how sort of like mountainous it was.
Yeah, it was certainly pretty hilly. So maybe we'll just talk about the road in. So if you're coming from the village of Alma to your campground at Cannon Lake, it's like walkable, ride your bike if you wanted. If you're coming in with your trailer, you're going to go up a small hill. There's going to be a big field to your left. There's going to be a welcome center to your right. And just beyond the Welcome Center, almost at the Welcome Center, is a left-hand turn into the campground, or you would continue on into the rest of the park. So that's really simple from the village into the campground. We came in from the other direction, and so I'm going to maybe back this up a little bit. As you come into the national park, there's a kiosk, and there's a lady manning the kiosk, and she's very friendly, and she's going to ask you, have you been here before? And chances are you're all going to say no. And she's like, okay, great. And she pulls out a map, and if you're listening to this in 2025, she's going to tell you admission to the national park is free. And I mention that because sometimes you have to pay to get into the national park, then you have to pay an additional fee to go to the campground.
Mm-hmm.
But because the government this year has been generous, it's promoting tourism in Canada, national parks are free. And this was not the only national park site we went to. We went to a historic site. We got free admission as well. She's going to give you a map. She's going to say, you're going to go down this road 10, 15, 20 minutes. To be honest, I don't remember how long it was because it was a nice drive, but it's a short drive. And she's like, you're going to go to the Welcome Center. You're going to check in at the Welcome Center. Then you're going to go to your campsite. Pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Pretty standard.
It sounds pretty good. Here's what happened. We drove and it was very scenic and we're excited and we're pretty jazzed. And then we come up to a sign and it says like next 4 to 5 kilometers is hilly and steep. So as an RVer with a trailer, you're like, mind your speed. Don't get, are your brakes set right? Little stuff like that. But by no means is there cause to panic. You're going to come to the end of this steep and hilly section, and you're going to come out to the bottom, and this is what you see in really quick order. You see part of the ocean, cool. You see a massive big field in front of you, cool. You see a campground to your right, and instinctively you're like, I'm going to the right because I'm going to go to my campsite. You're going to see a building that eventually turns out to be the comfort station, but it's a substantial comfort station. Mm-hmm. So it could potentially be the Welcome Center because it's a big building at the front of the campground. Like that's where I would put a Welcome Center. You see another building that looks like a headquarters, definitely a national parks building. And that turns out to be the Welcome Center. Mm-hmm. However, this happens really quickly. And you come up to this intersection where you have to make a decision about going right or going straight. I went right. We start the right. Molly is like, that was the Welcome Center over there. We're like, first of all, if you make this mistake, don't panic. We knew what our campsite was. We drove to our campsite. We backed in. We set up. We took the bikes down. We rode over to the Welcome Center and we checked in. Mm-hmm. That's how close everything is. I would say that intersection probably could have a little bit better signage, mm-hmm. but maybe it's me. And if you've been there before, you would know where to go. I would say this though. We talked about this after the fact and we wonder, would we be able to get the truck and the trailer there with everybody else parked at the Welcome Center? And we certainly did see some RVs there and some vans there. I kind of think in the end, we made the right decision to just go to the campsite, drop the trailer, mm-hmm. and then go over to the Welcome Center and check in. When you go into the Welcome Center, you're going to check in like you would at any provincial park, state park, like nothing spectacular. There's a big gift shop with magnets and books and stickers and kind of cool stuff there, really tastefully done. So that part's really good. That's the road in. When we got to the campsite, you could smell the brakes. Now, we didn't smell the brakes at any other part on the trip. We do know, since we've come back, that where you plug your trailer into the truck, we need to have that part replaced. The trailer connector where the 7-pin goes into, that potentially could have been the problem.
Engaging the brakes.
That maybe the brakes weren't engaging on the trailer. The truck was doing more of the work.
Yeah.
We didn't really notice that when we were driving in. So let's just manage the drama here. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I should have set the brakes just a little bit more aggressively and that would have done it. At the end of the day, nothing caught fire. We didn't crash. We never felt like we were out of control going down the hill because we were like probably traveling slightly slower than it recommended. So all in all, like fairly reasonable check-in, I would say. Like green check mark, gold star for Dan.
For sure.
For sure.
So let's talk about the loop then, because we stayed in Cannontown Loop, which is 3-way hookups, which is full hookups, which is great to see in a national park. That is, we are 2 for 2. Actually, I guess 2 for 3 in national parks for full hookups. We had full hookups in Banff, but not in Jasper. But it's a really nice surprise, especially for us having done a harvest host the night before. It was great to be able to, shower in your own trailer and have the water, which is awesome. I did discover later that there used to be like little cabins or chalets on that hilltop, and maybe that's why they all have three-way, but not a huge loop. Like there wasn't a ton.
I think there's about 30 campsites.
Yeah.
Certainly like smaller than a city block.
Mm-hmm.
The campsites are open. You can see into everybody's campsite for the most part, but it didn't feel like you lacked privacy.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of said it reminded me of our experience in Jasper, pre-fire Jasper, where we had our particular loop was kind of wide open and you could see into everything.
Yeah. One of the great things about it being more open is that we could actually like shift our chairs a little bit, to the driveway side of the site, and we could see the bay right from our campsite, which was neat to see the fog rolling in.
Yeah, and that's maybe the nice part of having an open site is like you get the full view of everything around you, the mountains, the trees, the meadows. Like you get a full view of everything instead of like cocooning yourself tightly in a nest of trees, and you might as well be in Ontario, Tennessee, or Nova Scotia or New Brunswick.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Let's talk about the washrooms, because they were like spick and span. They were super clean, really like well taken care of showers.
Pretty modern. Yeah. In terms of like functionality, like does everything work? Is it like is the shower nozzle give you enough pressure? 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Cleanliness, 10 out of 10. So like overall, I'd say the washrooms are a 10 out of 10. You're like, oh, but he was always going to say 10 out of 10. No, we did go to one place, and I'm sure it'll come up in a future podcast. It was not a 10 out of 10. In fact, there's two places that are not 10 out of 10s. I think what I am more inclined on our travels, even if we have full hookup, to go shower at the comfort station. Mm-hmm. So partly for the purposes of the podcast, partly because I don't mind loading up my towel and my flip-flops and my body wash and strutting over like a peacock over to the shower, and I have a good shower, and that's where I get cleaned up, because usually we've got a bunch of kids and everybody's fighting for the shower time, and this is that Dan's 15 minutes of peace and quiet. So I would say like comfort station is really, really good.
And my peace and quiet is the opposite in my own trailer, where my hairbrush and my hair stuff and all of the things I need to keep me clean and make me smell nice is within Arden's reach. I just feel like every time I go to the shower house, which I do, I'm not a snob, but like I have a big caddy that has to come with me often. So it's just sometimes easier to have it at home.
And there's no right and wrong way. And later on in the trip, there were some places where I'm like, yeah, honey, I need to shower.
Yeah, inside.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to speak a word about the playground.
Yeah.
So when Melina does her interview with Kris, you'll notice that I'm not on the interview. Well, Melina's having the interview with Kris. Kris had come over with his almost 5-year-old grandson who starts school this fall. And he was a perfect little gentleman, a bundle full of energy. I took him over to the park and the playground to play around while they had the conversation. I thought about this a lot before recording this. I thought about this all day. This is possibly the best playground I have ever seen in North America. Why do I say it's the best playground in North America? It's a super level, massive field with grass, mowed, great for playing catch, throwing a football, frisbee, you name it. There's kind of two distinct playground areas. There's like the usual slides and climbers and stuff like that. The playground is not ostentatious. It's not garish. It's tastefully done. And it sounds like I'm describing some kind of estate, but it's not too much is what I'm trying to say. There's a zip line. And so this is not my grandson. It's not my nephew. I'm dreadfully concerned that he's going to end up with a bump or a scrape or something that needs a Band-Aid, and it will be my fault. But I take him over to the zip line anyways, and against my better judgment, because you can't tell a kid he can't go on the zip line. He gets on the zip line, and this particular zip line is a rope with a wooden disc at the bottom that acts like a seat. He sits on the seat. He slides down. If he's going to fall, it's no worse than falling off a swing in the playground. He plays on that. He plays on the slides, some climber stuff, all super cool. Then he saw the zip lines for the older kids. And this is why I think this is maybe a really good playground, is like, I don't know, like our kids are a little older now. When did they stop going to the park? Like 10, 12?
Yeah.
This is the kind of one I think might push it to like 13 maybe.
Yeah.
And like even an adult likes a zip line. There is like an older kid zip line.
With like the handlebars.
After I've built his confidence up on the small zip lines, he's like, I want to go on the big zip lines. I don't want to have this kid get a bump or a scrape, and I don't want to get in trouble with his grandpa. His grandpa will beat me up. His grandpa's a big guy. And not fat. I mean tall. 6 foot 200.
I think 6 foot 7. Something like that.
So fortunately, Grandpa comes over and I did the dirty. I'm like, Grandpa will take you on the zip line. And I got out of there. So
I think I heard actually, you're going to have to ask your grandpa if you want to go on that one, which was like kudos to you, Dan.
And Grandpa took him on the big zip line, and I think he did. It doesn't matter. It all ended well. Grandpa's like a super friendly guy. His grandson is a perfect little gentleman. So kudos to his parents. They're doing a great job. Had a lot of fun at the playground when Melina was interviewing Kris.
Yes.
So it's a really good campground, which I'll just bring it to a close to say, if you're bringing your kids and you've been on the road and you're on the East Coast and everybody's cooped up in the car, you guys get to sit down, read a book, and admire the view in the campground with a cup of coffee in the morning, and they get to go over to the playground and run around and burn off some steam if you've been on the road for a couple of days.
Perfect. And with that, since we've mentioned my friend Kris, let's head into the interview. So when you think of Alma, New Brunswick, a few names really stand out. Kelly's Bake Shop is one of them. That name has deep roots in this coastal village, and today's guest is part of that story. Kris Kelly is a former colleague of mine and now the owner of Timber Tides Mercantile in Alma, New Brunswick. He joins me to share a local's perspective on what makes Alma so special. His shop is a modern sort of general store type feel with a lot of really neat artisan supplies, coastal inspired gifts, fishing, camping supplies, and local finds that reflect the heart and soul of the region. In our conversation, Kris offers insight into the history of Alma, the rhythm of life alongside the Bay of Fundy, and what visitors shouldn't miss when they roll into town. Whether you're here for the tides, the trails, or just passing through with your RV, this is a chat that'll make you feel right at home. And in my show notes here, I have written in pen in big letters, birds. And when we talked earlier about all of the variety of birds in the park, you can very, very, very clearly hear them in this episode, or in this interview, I should say, along with a small cameo from Dan and Kris's grandson that you can hear in the background. So our little lapel mics, I guess, pick up more ambient sound. So if you hear very loud birds chirping, I believe they were warblers was what they were. So without further ado, here is the conversation with Kris. We're here at
Fundy National
Park. Yes.
Carp.
So we are here at Fundy National Park in the beautiful Cannontown Loop, and we have stopped here on the edge of beautiful Alma, New Brunswick, specifically to see one proprietor in town. That is the famous Kris Kelly,
the must-see proprietor
in Alma. Kris Kelly of Timber Tides Mercantile.
You got it.
Also of the famous Alma Kellys. So maybe talk about your history in Alma, or your family's history in Alma.
So my family moved here from Scotland in 1857.
Wow.
They headed to St. John in 1854, ended up in the general vicinity of Fundy National Park. My great-grandfather was a blacksmith at Point Wolf, which is in the park where they built ships and a big timber spot. They had a farm at the corner of Point Wolf Road and Hastings. Then he left that farm to two of his sons, and then he moved to where the now superintendent lives of the park. And our land got expropriated in 1946, 47. So all the Kellys had to move at that point. 50 families from the park were expropriated.
Wow.
A bunch of them relocated to Alma.
Yeah.
Many more of them moved away. But most of Alma is still has the last names of the people that left the park. So it's actually the 75th official anniversary of the park this year. So once they expropriated the land, they did some work and officially opened, although they soft opened earlier, but in 1950. And that's my history here. My grandfather was a woodsman through the land we're on now.
Yeah.
And once they kind of took over the land, he became a general contractor. And built a bunch of the buildings that are on the park today. And my grandmother in 1963 opened Kelly's Bake Shop, famously home of the sticky bun.
Of which I had one yesterday, and I'm going back today.
I've already had one this morning myself. I'm not going to lie.
The cookies also top notch.
So, not as many Kellys around today. I still have an aunt and an uncle and some cousins around. We used to be a lot higher in number, but work is hard to come by in Alma, New Brunswick, and eventually people go away. And some of them, like me, come back once they don't have to work as hard.
Yes, which we love to see. So for people who have, like us, who have been here for the first time, what are the off the beaten things that they should see, or what is the reason to come to Alma?
So there's a couple not off the beaten track, very famous, that you need to come to the area for. That we're sitting in one of them, Fundy National Park. The trail systems here are amazing. The waterfalls are spectacular. If you haven't been, you have to go to Dixon Falls before you leave today.
Okay.
A very short walk to see a very spectacular scenery. See the falls. It's a deep gorge, and it's so damp and cool that the moss makes it look like another world. It's beautiful. It's like something out of Avatar.
Oh, amazing.
Yep. And then there's much longer hikes to see some more spectacular waterfalls as well. Also in the area is Hopewell Rocks. Our tides are spectacular to watch. You can go up to Cape and Rage, beautiful views. They do zip lining and rock face rappelling, among other things. Not for me. I'm too wimpy for that.
That's not for Dan. He did his mandatory rappelling course with the military, and that was it.
There's also very cool waterfalls outside of that at Crooked Creek Falls up in Riverside, Albert. It's a beautiful area.
There was a really cool school there. I think we drove by.
It's a very cool school.
An interesting building,
And it's an elementary school.
Yes.
It only goes up to grade 6.
Yeah.
And it is a very old, interesting building that requires a lot of upkeep all the time.
Yeah.
One of the drawbacks of living in the area is our schools are very far away. They closed our school down a number of years ago.
Okay.
So grades 1 through 6 go to the next town.
Yeah.
Anything above that, it's a 45-minute drive to Hillsborough.
Get out.
From grade 7 on, yeah.
Do they bus?
They do bus, and the buses start really, really early in the morning around here.
I can imagine.
Yeah, kids are on the bus right around 7.
So how many snow days?
There's actually quite a few. Our winter weather is, not that our winters are harsh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blowing snow. We get ice storms. And it's outside of Alma, once you get out of our bowl up in the hills, there's a lot of snow.
Yeah. You going to the park with Dan? I'm just saying, any of the times our kids have been in the ER, I haven't been home. He'll be fine.
And I didn't even tell you about the golf course here.
Tell me about the golf course.
We have a golf course right in Fundy National Park. It is only 9 holes. They do have, they did design 18, but they didn't want to eat up the space that another 9 holes takes.
Yeah.
Fundy National Park, as far as national parks go, it's actually quite small in area. But it's a Stanley Thompson designed course.
Nice.
Dixon Brook runs through all but one of the holes.
Wow.
And I know because I've lost so many golf balls to it. It's hilly.
Yeah.
And it is one of the prettiest courses to be played. The fourth hole is the prettiest golf hole, in my opinion, in Canada. It's awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is.
I do love the amenities, like, and maybe because this area had chalets on it, that's why we have full hookups, three-way service. That is a delight especially for a national park.
So I think for the RVers, there is, like, headquarters has good access and Chignecto in this. And then for the tenters, we also have sort of the, we have Point Wolf and we have Lakeview that are designed for tenters.
Yeah.
And there is backcountry stuff here as well for the people that are, let's go with younger than me.
Yes. Fair.
Because if I'm hiking during the day these days, I'm sleeping on a soft bed at night.
Oh, for sure. Yes. That's why we are in a trailer.
A large trailer.
We resisted it for a long time, but no. The spine says time to upgrade.
Young lady like you.
Yes. No, as soon as I hit 30, it was like, no more.
And one of my favorite times of the year here, so they started kind of late May and early June. We get all the caravanners from the southern states.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So they come up here to beat the heat in Texas and Louisiana and Florida and Tennessee. So I've taken to calling them, so we're snowbirders. If we go to the warmth, we call them sweatbirds.
I love that. Yeah.
And they'll come up and spend 3 or 4 months. They tour New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and PEI.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's amazing. I love that. There are a few here from Florida, which I was surprised.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a long way.
It's amazing. And we do get RVers that ship their RVs into St. John or Halifax from Europe and spend 6 months here.
Yeah, that's incredible. We ran into a couple just near our house actually last summer, and they were from Germany, and they did the same thing. Yeah.
An unbelievable amount of Germans that come through here.
Yeah.
And they love our national park system, and there's 6 national parks within a day's drive.
Yeah.
In the Maritimes, so they come out, they hike everything they can find, and off they go home.
Yeah, I think it's a dynamically different experience for them. We were chatting with a couple in Nakawik at the brewery when we stayed overnight, and they have a small van here, and they've purchased a van and they store it in Spain. So they fly over and then they caravan over there. But like, we were looking at pictures of where they were staying over there, and it's very dynamically different, right? You don't have the grand forests and the large waterfalls. It's very open field type camping.
It's kind of cool though. And it's amazing. I've met, working the store, you meet everyone. Yeah. But so many people that have sold every possession they have, and they live in their trailers traveling. Met a young couple last week, and they both work remotely. Yeah. And they choose their campsites based on internet connection, and they live out of their trailer. Yeah. And I think
that's beautiful.
It must be freeing in a way to own nothing but what you're driving in.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's amazing. I cannot wait. Fortunately, we have college, high school. Yeah. That's the plan.
Those pesky kids get
Those
in the
kids,
way
they
of all
always
that
get in the
kind
way.
of thing. And we're sitting here today, and we have about 6 or 7 merlins overhead.
Yeah, if anybody can hear them, they sound pretty incredible. I hear it's mating season. That's what I've been told.
This park also has a ridiculous variety of warblers that come through. It is bird watchers' paradise. Yeah. We have tons of eagles. We have falcons that nest in the cliff sides. Yeah. Warblers, finches, you name it. Yeah. Is here. So for bird geeks like myself, it is top notch.
I feel like I saw a grouse yesterday, but maybe that's wrong.
We have lots of grouse.
Do you have grouse? Okay. Yeah.
Lots of grouse, and they hide in the park because they know they can't be shot here.
Nice. They've learned the safe boundary. So tell us about Timber and Tides.
So Timber and Tides, I don't know. I always wanted to have a store or an inn. As you can probably tell, I really like chatting with people. My wife told me I couldn't start a store so I'd have more people to talk to, and I said I don't see why not. But we came up with the idea of Timber and Tides, and it's right in the title. This area very much reminds me of forest running straight into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, there was only two types of people in Alma. You were either a woodsman
Mm-hmm.
or you were a fisherman.
Yeah.
It's quite diverse now. We've got retired university professors and engineers, so the makeup has changed a lot. But that was my memory as a kid, hence Timber and Tides.
Mm-hmm.
So our shop, which is for the most part home decor, kitchen and bath,
Mm-hmm.
everything had to remind us either of the ocean or the
Mhm.
forest
Mm-hmm.
when we opened. And we've kept to that. Now, the little change is that we've added a hiking and camping section of the store
Yeah.
because everybody comes in and says, oh, I'm out of propane. Oh, I forgot my tent pegs.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't help them. But now we can.
Mm-hmm.
We have all the little bits and pieces that people forget, break, lose, that kind of thing, forgot to pack.
Mm-hmm.
Their 17-year-old forgot to pack their sleeping bag, and I've got a good replacement for them. And I also cater to the local striped bass fishermen.
Mm.
So we rent rods, I sell bait,
Mm-hmm.
hooks, sinkers, the basics for striper fishing.
Right.
And if you've never been around the coast here, that's all the rage. They're a game fish that kind of started migrating here, call it 25 years ago.
Okay.
They're very fun to fish. They're
Yeah.
very aggressive, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm. Aggressive is good. A lot of snapped lines and
When
lost lures.
When it comes to fishing,
Yes.
aggressive is good.
We did see somebody catch a nurse shark by accident in Florida, and they were trying to
we
get
catch
the
them
hook
here
off.
as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not right out front, but
Yeah.
down in Cape and Rage, they
Okay.
catch just down the street. As
Yeah.
you can hear the foghorn in
Yes.
Cape and Rage right now. They get dogfish,
Okay. Yeah.
which is the same animal.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is, I think that's a just cut the line moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he was trying to get the hook out, but I was like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And eventually it was.
There are times when it's just not safe, and
Yes.
you just cut the line.
Cut the line.
Cut bait, as they say.
Yes. Just like you did on your career to come to Alma, New Brunswick.
I did. So I did retire career-wise, but now I only work really, really hard in the summer,
That's right.
and I take the rest of the year off.
Oh, beautiful. That is paradise.
Yeah. We're just trying to decide where we're going to this winter.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to tell me and send me lots of pictures when you do.
Yeah, I've got Ecuador and Colombia in my head,
Yes.
but we'll see how that fleshes out.
Yes.
So we usually do two. One, as soon as the season's over, you need that
You need
breather.
that break. Yeah.
So we just go to a beach somewhere.
Yep.
Doesn't matter where, somewhere sunny,
Yeah.
where nothing is expected.
Yeah.
And then the second little trip will be more of a out and about and
Yeah,
hiking and trekking
adventure.
and sightseeing. But no, that first one will be I'm sitting on this beach and getting up only to get in the ocean
Yes.
and eat
Ugh.
some more.
Love it. That's okay. That's your recouping time. That's allowed. So we had fried clams yesterday,
Oh,
and which were amazing, by the way, and that we got them from the takeout
yep.
in Alma, and fantastic. Really good fries too, I will say. And today is Dan's birthday, and we are going for breakfast at some point. So where's the best breakfast in Alma?
So Alma's we've got 8. We're a town of 270 people. We've got 8 amazing restaurants.
Yes.
For at least 5 months of the year.
Yeah.
Breakfast isn't served everywhere,
Okay.
but if you want a good old traditional bacon and eggs,
Yep.
Muddy Rudder
Muddy
serves
Rudder.
a very nice breakfast.
Okay.
If you want your eggs Benedict, maybe a fancy bowl, or as it's billed, the world's best breakfast sandwich.
Ooh.
And he's not incorrect
Uh-huh.
to my mind. Octopus's Garden is awesome.
Garden. Oh, okay, we saw that on the other side of
Yeah.
town, cafe, right?
It's a
Beautiful.
cafe. He's a great chef, and he does. You can get a fancy coffee there if you want as well.
Ooh, yes. Okay.
After a round of golf the other morning, we did stop at Muddy Rudder for
Very
some
good.
bacon and eggs.
Perfection.
Actually, it's sausage. I don't know what sausage they're using at Muddy Rudder,
Mm-hmm.
but it's awesome.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Really good.
I might go on a little adventure and like go away from bacon today.
Although you can never go wrong with bacon, let's be honest.
Yes, true. Great.
What else you got?
Well, that's good. We've been chatting for 22 minutes already.
I have a hard time chatting.
I know. It's I really have to pull the words out of you.
Once I get over the shyness.
Well, Kris, this was amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm so glad you stopped into Alma.
Yes.
That's
I am glad
exciting.
too. We came here specifically to see you,
Oh,
and then just forgot to tell you what day we were coming.
oh, yeah. Besides that, well, there was no way the kids, my kids showing up was going to change, so that part didn't matter. Stick
Yeah.
around till Saturday. We'll go out. This is Saturday. Stick around tonight. We can go see live music.
I know, that would be amazing. We got to be in PEI today.
Are you going to the music festival?
Is there a music festival this weekend? Okay, so just to frame this up, we sound very disorganized. I am very type A. I usually plan everything. This trip, we decided to wing it, which is why we only booked this site a week and a half ago, because
So where are you camping in PEI?
Cabot Beach Provincial Park.
Cavendish Beach Provincial Park?
Sure.
Or Cabot Beach?
Cabot Beach? I think it's Cabot Beach.
Because it's the Cavendish Music Festival,
Oh, cool.
one of the largest outdoor festivals in the world.
Shows how much research I did.
And the fact that you got a space,
Oh, amazing. It was really hard, and then I checked again, and I think they must have had a cancellation. See, winging it works all the time.
and it's also the Summerside Lobster Festival.
Nice.
It's also the Shediac Lobster Festival going on.
Okay.
And you guys got spaces places.
Yeah. It's
That's
amazing.
pretty incredible, actually.
High five to me. So I guess planning doesn't pay off.
Stupid planning.
It's literally, yeah, we checked at like every campground in PEI, and I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to be sleeping in
Yeah,
parking
that's
lots.
because
Like,
it's Cavendish
yeah.
Music Festival.
Oh, well, that's going to be awesome.
There'll be a lot of people over there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. Well, it's good.
You should be.
Yeah. It's a great time to visit
You've been
the
to
Maritimes.
PEI before.
Have never been to PEI.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The green fields running into the red sand, which runs into the blue water, rolling hills.
Gorgeous.
It's completely different
Yeah.
than this.
Yeah.
My mother, who is from PEI, and my uncle, who lives up the hill here, they argue all the time about which is more beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, so they're both very beautiful, just in completely different ways.
Totally different. Like, and I can appreciate the uniqueness. Like, I'm sure it'll change again as we go into Nova Scotia. Like, it's been incredibly different, but this is stunning. Like, I love, like, coming from the West Coast, I appreciate the deeply forested areas and very hilly, mountainous regions. Our breaks were a little bit smelly when we came down into the park. Yeah.
Coming through Alma, you can smell all the breaks coming through.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
But I also appreciate the very, like, maritime-esque,
Yeah.
Fish-based industry type towns, and yeah, so I'm excited to see how it differs between the three provinces.
Yeah. So the tides are amazing.
Yeah. Yes, we went to Hopewell yesterday because we saw the tide would be low, and we thought, okay, perfect timing,
Done.
let's go. And yeah, it was great. It was really, really, really neat.
So it always
We saw foxes
helps.
there too. There was a couple of foxes
They have
that came
falcons
down.
in there.
Yeah.
We have a lot of wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
It always puts it in perspective. My house at high tide, we're 250 feet from the water.
Yeah.
And at low tide, we're a kilometer.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. It really is amazing to see, like, unless you stand there and watch it. Like, yeah. Everyone's like, okay, well, what's the big deal? Tides go in, tides come out, and it's like not like
No,
this.
not
This
like
is
that.
this is incredible. Yeah.
No, it is different. But the fishermen here they can only come and go every 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Once you put out to sea,
Yeah.
you're out for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Just why, so you'll never see a sailboat here.
Yeah.
There's no personal watercraft.
Yeah.
A couple of aluminum boats around that you can just
Yeah.
whip in and out if you had to, but
Yeah.
it's fishing boats, and
Yeah.
once a year the Coast Guard, and
Yeah.
that's about it. That's out front here.
Yeah.
But it's neat. So fishermen are working. If the tide's at 3 a.m, that's what time they're working.
Yeah. Incredible.
Time of day has nothing to do with it here.
No, you work with the rhythm of the sea.
Yep.
As it should be.
As it
Working
should
in
be.
tandem with nature. None of this 9 to 5. Who
9 to
invented
5
that anyway?
crap. 8 to 4.
Yeah.
9 to 5 was always no good.
Yeah, true. 8 to 4 is,
was the bomb.
that's the sweet spot.
If I could have done 6 to 2, I would have hauled that in.
Yeah, well, flexible full time, Kris Kelly. That's what it's about when you work remotely.
You hiring? How flexible?
Always. Well, I certainly had an excellent and really lovely time catching up with Kris. I do miss seeing him at work all the time, and it was just really, really nice to catch up. Thank you, Dan, for taking on the role of babysitter.
No, I really enjoyed it. We got the water guns out. We went over to the park. We ran around. I think we had a good time.
Considering we didn't have any kids with us this trip, and this was like our first real trip without the kids, I think it was great to just kind of relive some of those little memories, and delighted, I guess, that we still have all of these kids' toys like stacked in the trailer somewhere on the off chance we have a small little friend come over to visit.
Yeah, we found 10 pounds of crayons we didn't know we had in the back of the trailer. But 100%, I would go back to Alma and I would stay in the Cannontown loop again.
For sure.
Wish we could have spent a little bit more time there. So it's definitely on our let's go back there someday list.
For sure. And I will say we only spent one night there. I didn't mention this before when we were talking, but we booked last minute, which is incredible. Like, this park is one of the most popular parks in the country. We booked a week and a half out and we were able to snag one night on the night we wanted, which was fantastic. Definitely couldn't have stayed more than one night if we wanted to, because the reservations just picked up again. I think there was maybe 2 or 3 sites when I looked, and I think those are probably cancellations. So I would say to everybody, as I normally do, if you're going somewhere and you look, because we did look before and there were no spots available, keep checking, because people's plans change, right? So you never know when you might be able to snag a site.
Yep, 100%.
Okay. Well, that's it for this week, and we'll chat soon. Safe travels.
Bye-bye. Have a great week.
Good.
Oh my God. I can never move at the end of this. My leg has gone to sleep because I'm afraid to move.